Okay, I just came home from my office today and I thought very spontaneously yesterday, before I went to bed, that I should film, well, the last two videos that I uploaded were talking videos where I was just sitting down and telling you something, and I was missing this vlogging, like my everyday life. But as you might already know, if you're not new to my channel, hi, I'm Tina. As you might already know, I'm trying to save money, so I'm not doing anything on the weekend except for working. Let me eat my dinner while I talk to you. I'm going to eat this. A stupid sandwich. I always wanted to film one of those, like a day in the life of an OL kind of video, because I am an OL. I'm working in an office in Tokyo, and that means I'm an office lady. In Japan they call it OL, office lady. I don't know if that's like a term that you use in other countries, so I've never heard of that. And since COVID started, I'm working from home most of the time, but I have to go to our office like once or twice a week, which isn't that much actually. I'm really happy about it. At first I thought I just show you how my day looks like, because it's self-explaining and I cannot really talk. When I'm at my office, there are a lot of people around me and it's my workplace, so I don't want to be a YouTuber there. So I don't want to walk around with my camera and be like, hey, look at this, this is my workplace. You get it, you get the point. I'm working in Tokyo for 5 to 6 years at the same job, the same office in central Tokyo. Before that I was a student. I would say that I kind of have a morning routine, but when I look at morning routines on YouTube from other YouTubers, it always looks very unrealistic. I see a lot of morning routines on YouTube, but that are often people who work for themselves at home maybe, or just are freelancers or whatever, so they have enough time in the morning to start the day with all these kind of things that they're doing, like maybe yoga, stretching, going for a walk, like having a regular job. It always feels slightly unrealistic to have that kind of morning routine that I sometimes see on YouTube. Since COVID started, I got into the routine of taking an apple with me every time I go to the office. When I'm at home, I cannot bring myself to eat healthy every day, but for some reason it works when I'm at the office. I also had this idea because since COVID, I don't have as much exercise as before, so just on those office days, I'm sometimes only eating an apple for lunch. Until last week, I was also taking my hair supplements every time in the morning. For once, I had sugar bear hair, which you probably have seen on social media. It's quite famous and it definitely helped my nails. I'm not sure about my hair though. And I was also taking Pantuka, which is from a German brand and which is supposed to be a very good hair supplement, but also very expensive, which is the reason why I stopped taking both for the moment being, just to see how it goes. For my makeup, I am doing a pretty basic makeup routine when I go to the office. When I'm working from home, lately I stopped using makeup altogether, but when I'm at the office, I'm doing at least the bare minimum to not feel like too naked in my face, if you know what I mean. In the area I'm working in, and also in Tokyo in general, are a lot of well-dressed office workers and office ladies, so if you don't do at least something, you kind of feel underdressed. But I also feel that I'm more productive and concentrated when I'm dressed properly, when I have some kind of morning routine, and when I do just a little bit of makeup. On office days, I always wake up around 6 a.m. and I try to leave my apartment between 6:30 and 6:40. You can see that I'm still wearing my mask as usual. However, lately we don't really need to wear it all the time because it has been way too hot in Tokyo. But because I have to take the crowded train in the morning and because I'm not really bothered by my mask, I'm still wearing it for the moment being. Since COVID started, we got the permission from our boss to go to work
either an hour earlier or an hour later to avoid the rush hour. So what you will see now is that the trains are actually not that crowded when I go to work. However, this is not the rush hour. But the moment I get off the train, you can see that there are quite some people on their way, and try to imagine that during the rush hour. I have to walk quite a bit from my apartment to the station, so it takes me between 40 and 50 minutes to get to work. Before I go to our office, I always make a short stop at a convenience store to get my breakfast and lunch, and I often also end up buying dinner. You might have seen this in some of my previous videos, but here are some of the things that I regularly buy at the convenience store. I always get a coffee in the morning. They also had a Jujutsu Kaisen coffee on that day, and a bottle of water. I also always get either one of their sandwiches or one of their onigiri, which I highly recommend you to try if you come to Japan. I didn't buy this hamburger, but they always look so good that I'm always intrigued to. For breakfast, I got a small yogurt and a croissant. And then in the end, I always get a couple of snacks to eat in between meals.
I'm not the same since last you saw me. Roommates think I've lost my mind. I kinda freaked out when you called me.
I didn't mention that so far, but I really like the area I work in. We have some trees and flowers, and it's always really clean. It's a typical office district in Tokyo where you have a lot of skyscrapers, high buildings, some convenience stores, but not too many people. I always end up arriving at our place a little bit early. The room that you can see here is outside of our office, and here's where I always eat my breakfast, take a little break before I have to work, watch some YouTube or Netflix. I started doing this already when I started to work at my place, because when you have to go to work during the rush hour, it's honestly so exhausting that you kind of need a short
Not the
break.
same since last you saw me. Roommates think I've lost my mind. I kinda freaked out when you called me. And if I sound insane, I'm sorry. But I haven't slept 3 nights. 'Cause kissing you's like sipping coffee. I said I won't ever text you with emojis. And won't be the one to kiss you in the front seat. Back in October, yeah, that's what I told you. Now look at me, doing things I never do. Been over like a fool, yeah, yeah. Addicted to the way you move. I'm breaking all my rules. Look at me, saying things I never say.
Our view is one of the things that I love the most about our office. When I came here for my interview the first time or the second time, I always thought I really want to work here. It's such a nice area, the view is amazing. Here you can see some of the drawings that I have been working on recently. I also have an art account on Instagram, so if you're interested in what I'm doing here, then please consider following me on Instagram or my art account. I start to work at 8:20 in the morning, but I go to our office a little bit earlier, for example, to turn on my computer, which is a little bit slow in the morning, sometimes also in the afternoon, depending on its mood. Also, I have to prepare my desk a little bit. I put some of the snacks that I bought at the convenience store in my drawer, and I also got in the habit of cleaning my desk before I start to work, which is kind of related to COVID too. I already mentioned that I'm drinking way more these days, so as you can see I've got myself some tea, but I also always have water close by. Also, shout out to my friends who got me these amazing items for my birthday, a Game of Thrones mousepad and a Game of Thrones cup that says, "I do what queens do, I rule." What is better as a motivation for work than that? Lunch break always starts at 12:20. I usually buy a lot of stuff at the convenience store, as you have seen, so I'm usually eating in our office. On that day, I was just missing some gum, so I went shortly to the convenience store on the first floor in our building. Also, on that day, I had to get our mail, which is a task that everyone at our office has to do once in a while, and on that day, it was my turn.
I can't film everything at the moment. My co-workers are in our office, so I can't film inside. Normally I would eat there, but today I decided to get my lunch here. If you have questions, please leave them in the comment section. Anyway, that applies to every video ever that I make.
During my lunch break, I often make myself a coffee. When I came to Japan, I started to drink more coffee, but then later I settled on 2 cups a day, one in the morning and one around lunch. I'm not really a fan of the coffee that we've got at work, but it's the only type that we have there, this drip coffee, and it's a little bit too strong for me. However, I just add some water, which makes it kinda okay. For the rest of the lunch break, I go back to my desk. I either watch some YouTube, Netflix, or I continue my drawings and just try to relax for a couple of minutes before I have to work again and to get my mind off it. On office days, I finish work around 4:40 and usually it would be 5:40. However, as I mentioned, I'm going to work earlier and I can leave 1 hour early. When I leave the building, it's often still nice outside, so if I had more energy and time and maybe also money, I would still do something after work. However, on those days, I don't know exactly why, I'm always very exhausted and I just want to go home. Maybe it's because due to COVID, I'm really used to staying at home all the time. After I get home, I always take a little break if I feel like it, because then I also have my own to-do list of the things that I want to do in my free time. And if you're not new to my channel, you already know that I'm posting regularly on Instagram, on Twitter, and also sometimes on TikTok. So I'm going to do that in the afternoon, as well as editing my YouTube videos. Sometimes I also got some emails that I have to reply to, or I have a couple of other things to do, or look up something on the internet. It's always something else every day. This is by no means sponsored, however, a couple of months ago I started to use Notion. If you have never heard of Notion, it's a website/app that you can use for basically everything. I'm using it to organize my stuff, and I love organizing stuff and making to-do lists, etc. So that's just really the perfect app for me. And I have the feeling that I've become so much more productive since I'm using it. Normally when I come home from the office, I'm eating something unhealthy. Like on many days, I'm actually binging on snacks, sweets, ice cream, chocolate. I don't know why, it's maybe just because I'm sitting in front of the computer all day long. But on that day, actually, it wasn't even for the video. However, on that day, I actually made something healthy for myself. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe if you haven't yet. If you have a question or comment, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I sometimes don't know what people are interested in, so please feel free to ask anything. And I then hopefully see you in the next video. Also, if you're a Netflix person like me, leave me your recommendations down in the comments below, because currently I'm not watching anything.